Hello, my name is Sam, and this is my dev diary. So for this first video, I think what I want to talk about actually is creating a dev diary, why you'd want to do it, and how I've decided to go about doing it. At first, I thought about what would make a good topic for a first video, and I had some ideas, like introducing our work in progress title, Chicago Chase. That's not the final idea for the name of the game, it's just a placeholder. But I really wanted to do a good job of that. So I also thought maybe about going over the history of what happened with our other game, Bad Blood, which we now have the demo out on Steam. I highly recommend you check it out. You can find a link for that in the description below. I also thought about perhaps talking about some of the things I've worked on in the past, because I've got a pretty impressive list of titles under my belt. I've also worked on VFX software, which was used in film, TV series, and even in adverts. However, as I started reading articles and saw videos from people who are much better at doing this already than me, one thing that kept coming up is that your first video is going to suck, and you're going to continuously improve as you make more. Another piece of advice that I saw coming up again and again is to be honest and direct with your audience. This is something that game developers don't really have a great reputation for. Big shout out to my boys who are working on Star Citizen. I can't just pick on one example here, so I'd like to give a shout out to Peter Molyneux whilst I'm at it, and Herman Narula. Now, that being said, I should probably tell you exactly why I'm making a dev diary. And the reason is we want to do a Kickstarter campaign. Or at least this is the main reason. And in order for that to work, we need to try and build an audience before we start it. Otherwise, it's likely to just fall flat and not work. There are other reasons to want to build an audience. For instance, if we're going to announce something, like we did with our game demo, then we need people who are actually going to listen when we make an announcement. And somewhere down at the bottom of the list of reasons is maybe it's a nice idea to show people something of what happens behind closed doors in game dev. Possibly even help others who want to try and achieve their goals in this space. But I'll be completely honest, those are not the main motivators here. And underlying all of this is the fact that we actually want to make the game, and we want to make a good game, a beautiful game. And a lot of the indie first-person shooters you see today, they're kind of boomer shooters. Not very many of them are particularly stylized, they just kind of look bad. Although a notable exception here is Mouse. And oh boy, do we want to try and compete with Mouse. Now that I've talked about why we want to do it, I should probably talk a little bit about how. Although I kind of want to mention that I already made our Kickstarter video. I feel a bit stupid for doing it, because one of the biggest parts of doing stuff like this is video editing. It can take hours. And like any kind of work that takes a serious investment in time, it's amazing how much better you get at it with each attempt. Aside from the skills involved, it's also good to use some decent tools. And for this video, I've used DaVinci, which, for someone who give a free offering, they actually provide a really decent tool set. And I can tell you right now, you ain't making this video in Windows Movie Maker. Talking about how to use these tools well is a huge topic of its own, and one that I know nearly nothing about. However, hopefully just pointing you in the right direction will give you some help if this is in fact something that you'd want to do. Although, I'd highly recommend against that. And in the spirit of honesty, one reason is because we just don't need any more damn competition. At this point in the process, I'm starting to enjoy the sound of my own voice rather a little too much. So, I think I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for listening, and please don't forget to check out our demo. And following the advice from the many articles I've seen, please click like or subscribe and share our video.